The St. Louis Rams. Well, technically they're the LA Rams, but I mean, it's the St. Louis Rams, and that's the team that I'm going to be talking about. And no, I can't talk about the 2019 Rams redemption against the Patriots in the Super Bowl because they made the finals, and the what ifs are basically for teams that didn't make the finals. Because redoing World Series finals would be boring, boring, to say the least. So, anyway, here to talk about the St. Louis Rams. The Rams franchise started off in Cleveland. I kid you not. They were a team in 1945. Cleveland had a team called the Rams. And the Cleveland Rams won the NFL title, but then they decided to move out west to Los Angeles to get a lot more football fans out there. One of the, I believe that's the first West Coast team in any of the Big Four leagues. If you figure it out. I mean, baseball, the Dodgers and the Giants didn't move to California until '58. Basketball, the Lakers were the first team, or was that San Francisco? I think either that in the '60s. And NHL didn't have a West Coast team till 1967 when the Kings and Seals came in. So anyway, yeah, the LA Rams came to fruition for almost 5 decades in Los Angeles, won a few NFL titles, lost a few. They had North Van Brocklin and Bob Waterfield at quarterback almost at the same time, and then they had to choose one, and they chose Waterfield because he's from UCLA and he was dating a Hollywood starlet, whereas Van Brocklin came from Oregon and was kind of a tough son of a bitch. Van Brocklin did get his revenge, kind of, because he led the 1960 Eagles to the NFL title. Anyway, the LA Rams were a decent team in the 60s and 70s, but couldn't really get over the hump to get to the Super Bowl until 1980. The LA Rams had a great year in 1967, but they couldn't get past the Green Bay Packers. Who could get past the Green Bay Packers nowadays? The Rams had a chance to unseat the Baltimore Colts in '69. Wrongo. The Rams really had problems. Losing playoff games at home when they should have won, and basically not really doing a whole lot of things right seemed to be the MO of the LA Rams. The Rams did make one fantastic run, that in 1980, led by Vince Ferragamo and Pat Hayden. But anyway, the LA Rams of that time actually did pretty well for themselves. Heck, they went to Dallas and beat the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas to move on to the NFC title game in Tampa Bay, which they beat the Buccaneers. Yeah, Tampa's defense started to crawl. That's why they got into the NFC title game. Funny. It's funny to see the Rams and the Buccaneers in the NFC title game. But anyway, the LA Rams got to Super Bowl 14. Sadly, though, they couldn't hang with the Steelers, especially the fourth quarter when Bradshaw gave Lynn Swann, or was it Stallworth, that 75-yard touchdown pass to win the game at the Rose Bowl, where the Rams played for many years. The Rams would end up moving not cities, but like municipalities. As people should know, Anaheim is actually a suburb of Los Angeles in a sense. So they moved the Rams to Anaheim Stadium. That's why Anaheim Stadium, if you watch highlights of California Angels baseball in the 80s, they had the massive 70,000 seat stadium because it had to hold the Rams. You know, that the LA Raiders actually played at the Memorial Coliseum, one of the finest old venues around, and it's still around to this day. And it's going to host the 2028 Summer Olympics, I think. Yeah, I think it's 2028 because Paris is 2024. But anyway, I digress. The LA Rams had that one great year, and then they all of a sudden just fell flat on the behinds. They couldn't really get the wins. They got Eric Dickerson, a great running back from SMU. Unfortunately, he couldn't carry them to a playoff triumph. Well, they won a few playoff games, but not really to get to the Super Bowl. The Rams would fall flat on their butts and moved from LA to St. Louis in 1995. St. Louis was miffed over losing a expansion franchise. Like the NFL in '93 announced some expansion franchises, two of them, Carolina and Jacksonville, got them. St. Louis was miffed. However, St. Louis, after losing this the Cardinals football team in 1987 to Arizona. Got a reprieve. The Rams decided to move there because they knew St. Louis would have a nice stadium, the TWA Dome, or what is now known as the Edward Jones Dome, and all that. So anyway, the St. Louis Rams did decent. They went into St. Louis in '95, not really with a star quarterback, but Isaac Bruce was a beast receiving the ball. Oh, by the way, did you know that the Rams actually had Jerome Bettis for 3 years and then traded him to Pittsburgh? The only reason why I know that is because he was the star running back for the Rams in Tecmo Super Bowl for the Super Nintendo. I'm like, really? They had Jerome Bettis and then let him go. Big mistake. LA, big mistake. However, St. Louis would have a few crappy seasons with Dick Vermeil coming back to coaching in the NFL. However, the '99 season was not meant to be a star-studded season. Trent Green was going to be the quarterback of the future for the Rams, but a preseason injury got Kurt Warner in. Kurt Warner had a imagine. Can't imagine the story Kurt Warner had. He could have been Brett Favre's backup. He was cut in Packers training camp. He basically was stocking shelves at a grocery store, playing indoor football with the Iowa Barnstormers, and then all of a sudden, the Rams decided to take a flyer on him. They made Kurt Warner really good, and lo and behold, Kurt Warner just had a fantastic season. Well, he did have some great receivers in Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, and Az Hakim, and to a lesser extent, Ricky Prohl. But anyway, and Marshall Faulk was picked up from the Colts in a trade because the Colts wanted Edgerrin James in the draft. Edgerrin James was a good running back. It wasn't a full-blown mistake. But you know what? The Rams got Marshall Faulk, and he could run the ball and catch the ball, kind of like a Roger Craig, if you will. The Rams had a magical time. Yeah, they beat Tampa Bay 11-6 in the NFC title game at the Edward Jones Dome. And yes, it was kind of boring because, you know, the defense and all that. And yes, Burton Emanuel got fucking robbed of a catch in the end zone or something like that. But yeah, the Rams won. Kurt Warner just had the magic. And the winning touchdown was scored by Ricky Prohl. That's why I said Ricky Prohl's name. So anyway, the Rams went into the Super Bowl at the Georgia Dome, Super Bowl 34 against the Tennessee Titans. The Titans got off that Music City Miracle and all that. However, the Rams and Titans, it was a good game. 23-16 final seconds. When the Titans had a chance to tie the game and go to the first overtime in Super Bowl history. Kevin Dyson got the ball, but Mike Jones tackles him 1 yard short. Vermeil gets his Super Bowl. Fantastic. He then leaves for greener pastures. And Mike Mertz comes in. He does a good job. The Rams do okay. But a couple years later, the 2001 season, the Rams do their greatest show on turf thing with the passing offense. They were just as well. But just as good, 14-2. And then they bumped into the New England Patriots with Tom Brady at quarterback at Super Bowl 36. And what happened? Brady led the Patriots downfield for the winning field goal. Now, it's safe to say that John Madden was a little bit off when he said that Tom Brady was going to just play conservative and go for overtime. And Pat Summerall said, now just a moment, you know, because he knew that Tom Brady had winning drives in his blood after all. I know that the Patriots got by with the tuck rule game, but they could have fucked it up. They could have fucked that game up because Vinatieri had basically to kick a big field goal in massive snow and all that. But, you know, and the Patriots could have started Drew Bledsoe at quarterback. But anyway, Drew Bledsoe wasn't the quarterback. It was Tom Brady. And Brady Mania came along. Rams felt cheated. So the Rams tried to repeat the magic. They couldn't. Kurt Warner was soon on his way out for Mark Bulger. Okay, Mark Bulger has a fantastic year. The 2003-04 Rams have a chance. They host the Carolina Panthers in the conference championship game. Have a chance to win the game in overtime on a field goal? No. Carolina missed a chance on a field goal. Okay, but you go to double overtime? Big problems. So the Rams, before I do the what if. I'm just going to say that, yeah, the 2003 Rams are my what if because, I mean, they had such a great offense and they deserved to win over the Carolina Panthers in that game. So basically, before I talk about the what if scenario, I'm going to keep going in the timeline. The Rams in the 2000s really missed Kurt Warner. Bulger was a good quarterback. You could be a good quarterback for so long. The Rams didn't really have much playoff experience. They decided to gamble on Sam Bradford. Big mistake. St. Louis fans were actually taken aback because they didn't know that the Rams were going to move from St. Louis back to Los Angeles, in a sense. There were rumors, but it wasn't official. And then the Rams went back to LA, and St. Louis fans were pissed. They don't have football again. Oh dear. Well, my sympathies. The LA Rams have been doing decently, but sometimes they lose games they should win, and they win games they should lose. So, here's what the scenario is about the St. Louis Rams. We'll be doing the 2004 NFL playoffs. Now, ironically, and I didn't plan this, but the next team I do a what if on will be the same scenario, the 2004 playoffs, but for different reasons. So, as we should know, in the playoffs, the Rams were the 2 seed against Carolina number 3. Philadelphia was the 1 seed, and of course, you remember 4th and 26. So the Panthers will take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, in real life, Carolina took care of Philadelphia, but since Carolina lost, it's be St. Louis. So the Rams will take on the Eagles in Philadelphia because Philly was the 1 seed. So obviously we have to go with the way things are. So let's set it up. All right. 12-4 these two teams were. The Eagles playing at Lincoln Field. It was 30 Fahrenheit. Of course, you know, I'm from Canada, so I don't know much about the Fahrenheit meter, but I can tell you this much. The Rams beat the Eagles 17-13. So, yeah, they have a chance to win the Super Bowl. About a field goals until Marshall Faulk gets a touchdown run. Brian Westbrook, touchdown run. Akers made it 13-10. Marshall Faulk early in the 4th quarter with a touchdown, but the Eagles couldn't do it. So they ruined the Eagles' chances again. Marshall Faulk does okay with running. Westbrook just as much. But Torrey Holt, 137 receiving. Yikes. What's his name again? Marshall Faulk. Why did they give it to Marshall Faulk? It's Torrey Holt's time. Bulger, 15 for 29, 269, 2 picks with a touchdown. McNabb, 8 for 19 with a pick. The pick for the Rams was Tommy Pulley, whereas Troy Vincent and Michael Lewis got the picks. Akers and Wilkins both don't miss field goals. So the Rams now have to take on the New England Patriots because the Patriots won in the other league. And, of course, we have to head to Reliant Stadium because that's where the game was. You got 12-4. Yeah, you see the Rams surprisingly facing the Patriots for the 3rd time in 5 years. It's 1-1. Someone has to win the rubber match. Well, then, we got a rubber match winner. So the rubber match has been decided. Rams fans, rejoice because your team gets the happy ending that you deserve. Jeff Wilkins did kick a couple of field goals in the 2nd quarter, but the Patriots came back with a drive that got Tom Brady a touchdown pass to Troy Brown for 17 yards. They get the extra point. Wilkins again gets a field goal, 9-7. It stays that way to the 3rd quarter. When Adam Vinatieri kicks a field goal to make it 10-9 Patriots. Rams, they don't waste time. After Faulk gets stopped at the line, Mark Bulger decides to pass to Isaac Bruce, and he's gone 79 freaking yards later. Touchdown Rams. They go for a 2-point convert and miss 15-10. Patriots can't take advantage. The Patriots have a big drive in the final few minutes. They have a forfeit not at the 31 of the Rams. Brady did give a touchdown pass to, a pass to Gibbons. The ball at the 6-yard line. Brady decides to pass and gets picked off. The Rams use their power and they get a running touchdown from Harris at the 5-yard line. So anyway, great job by the Rams. 22-10 Rams Kachi. So all in all, a fantastic time to be a Ram fan. Can you believe it? They get their second Super Bowl in history. Isaac Bruce is the hero. Finally, give Isaac Bruce it. Of course, a lot of field goals. All that. Kevin Falk, 136 on the ground, and they still lost. But Isaac Bruce, 161, they're receiving. Bulger, 11 for 15, 250, and a touchdown. Brady, 10 for 22, 163, one touchdown, 4 interceptions. Wow. Yikesies. 2 by Ernest Williams, who was a fantastic cornerback. I remember one time playing one of the Madden games, and I intercepted a ball with Williams in the end zone for 105 yards, for a 105-yard touchdown. Jamarius Butler and Leonard Little. Leonard Little picked off a pass. He's a big boy. Will gets 3 field goals without a miss. Vinatieri missed a 49-yard field goal indoors. That's not like him at all. But oh my God, the New England Patriots win nothing. As a Patriot fan, I'm pissed to the bone. But, give the St. Louis Rams credit. They won the game by playing defense.